Hi everyone, I am back again. And today I'm not going to be doing a Synastry chart between two people. I am going to be going over the red flags in Synastry using asteroids by popular demand. So I'm going to get started with this. And I think that it's very necessary to really pay attention because these following asteroids that I'm going to be going over are really, they're dangerous. You have to pay attention. Now, everyone talks about Pluto and Mars in Synastry, but the real red flags, like I said, they're hiding in the asteroid belt. And some are classified as minor planets or TNOs or centaurs. In this video, I'm breaking down the biggest asteroid red flags. In my opinion, there are many asteroids that can be classified to me as being dangerous. But I picked my top, I was going to say favorites, but they're really not my favorites. They're the ones that I plug in the most to make the determination. Now, this is going to give you a broad sense of what to look for, but if you want a one-on-one Synastry reading that gives you your relationship dynamics, my email and the information is in my description box. Because, like I've said before, you really have to look over the whole chart to make that determination. Now, the first bad boy in this video I'm going to get into is Nessus. And Nessus is straight up about abuse. I don't know why this centaur, well, actually, it's classified as a minor planet. I don't know why this is ignored. Because to me, this is a run for the hills dynamic. If you see this in a Synastry chart, especially in certain aspects, it's a serious red flag. And to show you just how this plays out, I'm going to be using O.J. Simpson and Nicole Brown as the example. Now, the orbs have to be super tight, less than 3 degrees for the impact to be really significant. Now, his Nessus conjuncts her Mercury, and that's huge. Mercury represents how we think, communicate, and process information. So when someone's Nessus is conjuncting your Mercury, it can manifest as verbal abuse, mental manipulation, and gaslighting. This isn't just physical violence, it's psychological. And we saw this tragically play out in their relationship. There were countless reports of control, intimidation, and fear before things really escalated. This is why I always say Nessus in Synastry is not something you should not ignore this centaur. Now, Brad Pitt's Nessus is conjuncting Angelina Jolie's South Node and her point of fortune. This is really intense and karmic. The South Node shows up with past life patterns, and when Nessus hits it, it can bring toxic cycles that feel really familiar because whatever conjuncts your South Node, you're going to be very comfortable with these energies, and it's almost like you're meant to relive them because South Node can strongly signify past life connections as well. And with the point of fortune here, it's all amplified because the point of fortune acts like a mini Jupiter. It magnifies whatever it touches for better or worse. And in this case, it just dialed up all of the darker undercurrents of their relationship. Now, Dejanira is the next asteroid on my list, and this is the asteroid of the victim. It represents where we feel powerless or fall into patterns of being used, controlled, or even abused. So when you're plugging in Nessus, you really should plug in Dejanira as well, because those two were connected in Greek mythology, and that's a whole nother story. But Nessus and Dejanira, not a good combination. Now, Blake Lively's Dejanira conjuncts Justin Baldoni's North Node and his Midheaven. And this is a recipe for drama. Victimhood is a major theme of their relationship, and it's not just personal. This spills over into their careers and public image. And with Dejanira here, right at the top of the chart, it's out there for the whole world to see. And it's the dynamics of victimhood being controlled and being used. It plays into their relationship in a very toxic way. Now, the next asteroid I'm going to be going over is Apophis. Apophis is all about destruction, chaos, and sudden shifts or breaks in the relationship. It can create major instability, and this includes ghosting. One person will just, when Apophis shows up, there's a sudden shift, like I said, and both of these people will just, all of a sudden, they'll break up and there won't be any sort of meaning behind it. One person usually is confused and wonders why, and that would have to do with Mercury conjuncting Apophis. So if Apophis shows up in the Synastry, it's a major red flag. Now, Ben Affleck's Mercury conjuncts J-Lo's Apophis. So this brought down a sudden breakdown in communication. They just stopped talking. And like I said, Apophis is known for sudden cutoffs and harsh endings. So this aspect can lead to abrupt silences. And like I said, even ghosting. Did they ghost each other? I know they stopped talking 20 years ago or 25 years ago. The relationship, there was a breakdown in communication. They just stopped talking. And then it shows up again. And they just ended up no communication again. So 1 minute they're talking, and the next, poof, it's over. Now, I know there's other aspects in their Synastry chart that contributed to the demise of their relationship. And that's why I've said many times, you have to look at the whole chart to make the final determination of what can transpire between the two people. You can't just throw asteroids into a Synastry chart like confetti. You have to use surgical precision when you're doing it, because once you start plugging them in, the energies will start to emerge, and then you could pick the other asteroids that can validate that, or move on to other asteroids that will reflect other dynamics in the relationship. So it's kind of like putting a puzzle together. Once the pieces, the picture starts to emerge, then the dynamics and the energies will start forming the whole picture. Now, the next asteroid on my list is Sado. And Sado is a trans-Neptunian object. And this has to do with sadistic behavior, where one partner inflicts emotional pain on the other person with cruelty and control, and they can actually take pleasure in seeing this happen. And in Synastry, this is a major red flag. It's a major red flag for toxic, manipulative dynamics. Now, in the example that I'm going to use for Sado, Ike Turner's Sado conjuncts Tina Turner's North Node. This is a perfect example of sadistic behavior driving the entire relationship. The North Node shows the ultimate theme of a partnership, and with the Sado here, it's all about control, manipulation, and cruelty. So his actions weren't just part of the dynamic. It really defined the essence of their whole relationship. Now, Kim Kardashian's Mars conjuncts Kanye West's Sado, and this is a brutal combo. Mars is all about aggression and drive, and it's a war planet, and Sado brings sadistic tendencies. So this creates a volatile relationship where passion can quickly turn toxic, and it did with them. Now, next up, Nemesis. This is the asteroid of sneaky betrayal. I've seen this play out, and this actually played out in my own life with one of my relationships, so I can attest to the toxicity of this one. And it's all about hidden enemies and the kind of backstabbing that cuts deep. If Nemesis shows up in Synastry, it's a major red flag for deceit, dishonesty, and betrayal that often happens behind your back. And when it happens, you're not going to know. You will find out. But when you find out about Nemesis coming into play, creating the havoc, the backstabbing, the betrayal, it's going to be too late. So pay attention, because it's just heart-wrenching. Now, Johnny Depp's Jupiter conjuncts Amber Heard's Nemesis, and this is a toxic mix. Jupiter expands everything it touches, so this brings a massive boost to Amber's Nemesis, amplifying betrayal, deceit, and hidden enemies, like I said. So this is a classic case of someone hiding their true intentions while the other person gets blindsided, which was him. Now, this asteroid, I have seen this play out so many times, and it's really a lesser known asteroid, and it kind of fell into my lap. But when I discovered it, I was like, I have to plug this into every single chart, even if the chart looks good, because Humpty Dumpty is the asteroid of irreparable breakdowns, situations that fall apart so completely, there's no putting the pieces back together. It's based on the childhood nursery rhyme where Humpty Dumpty falls off the wall and no one can fix him. Now, in this example, this is between Shanann Watts and Chris Watts, and I'm sure that you are familiar with what happened there. He ended up unaliving her. So Shanann's Humpty Dumpty, that asteroid is smack dab on Chris Watts' North Node in the 7th house of committed relationships, and it says it all. The theme of their relationship for him was a disaster just waiting to happen. This wasn't just a breakup, it was a complete shatter. The kind you don't come back from. The North Node, like I said, is about the theme of the relationship, but it can also mean destiny and where you're going, or what the main theme, like I said, what the main theme of the relationship is going to be. And with Humpty Dumpty sitting there, his path with her was always meant to break him wide open. Now, we're talking cracks in the foundation. A relationship that looked picture perfect on the outside, but was really falling apart behind the scenes. And once it shattered, there was no putting these pieces back together. It was karmic, it was chaotic, and meant to implode. So if you're familiar with that nursery rhyme, this will totally make sense. If you're not familiar with it, you can look it up online and read the words, because some of my subscribers actually live overseas and are not familiar with that nursery rhyme. Now, Shannon, in this instance, was the mirror that exposed all the pieces that he tried to keep hidden. Now, I want to say, if Humpty Dumpty shows up in your Synastry chart, it doesn't necessarily mean that the relationship will have irreparable damage. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it has to be validated by a bunch of different other asteroids to add to that mix. So if you see this in a Synastry chart between you and someone else, and there's so much other wonderful asteroids in the Synastry chart, the probability of this being minor can be, it can happen. Because you want all of the good stuff to outweigh the bad stuff. Now, yes, I did say that there is irreparable damage, but there's a possibility, if you go to therapy, or if both people are mature enough and there's other asteroids in the mix, that can soften it, there's a possibility that the relationship can stay together. So you see where I'm going with this? And these, like I said before, these aspects could be really strong, serious red flags, but ignoring them can be risky. So with years of experience, I've seen how important it is to analyze the full chart to truly understand the dynamics in your relationship. So if you need help uncovering these hidden layers, I'm available. Have you seen any of these red flags in any of your relationships? And let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer. I will do my best to answer them. So if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth readings and insights. And thanks for watching. I will be back soon, and I do take all of your requests seriously. I have so many, and I have to really filter some out with the ones that, like, I put in my community poll, the ones that get the most votes. Those are the ones I go with. But I do take all of your requests seriously. But all right, I will see you again next time. So have a nice day.